Welcome back to the Middle East Tradesman podcast with me, Paul Haddo. I'm the co-owner and founder of Expat Group, and joined as always with Joshua Williams, the co-owner of Expat Group and co-founder of Expat Group Renovations.
I'm going to have to put that in my LinkedIn bio, I think. That's getting longer now.
Yeah, we'll make it official. I'll make it official. And I mean, that is a perfect rollout. It's almost like we planned it because we were going to talk about social media today.
True.
So does that make it official once we put it in our bio then that the Renovations is up and running and going?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, technically, as of now, it is.
Yeah. We have our first project underway.
Signed and sealed, trade license ready to go. Perfect. We now have a renovation company.
Yeah, it's official. So, I mean, on that note, we are going to talk about social media first of all. I mean, first of all, how seriously do you take social media personally and business-wise?
It's a business thing that I don't think personally I would have done if it weren't for you. Not that it's just not me. Like, I know you like the social media a lot more than me, I feel, and that's great for the business because it needs somebody like that to sort of spearhead it and give it that momentum. If I was doing it, I think I would have probably given up by now.
Really?
Not because I don't like it. I don't know. I like to just stay under the radar and do my own thing and not really be there in front of everyone. But I do feel that it's a great thing for businesses to do.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we were first sort of going behind the camera, when we first started taking social media seriously, it was awkward for both of us. It still is sometimes a little bit now.
I was very out of my depth when we first started. But I do feel that doing things like that you're not comfortable with does make you grow as a person. And there's a lot of times that I was dreading Law coming into the office to do some filming with us, especially in the early few months. And I think I still look back at the videos now and I think they're hilarious.
Like, I mean, I think the first video we did was at my house, and I think I'm using all sorts of terminology that I can't even remember now. I think one of the words was like slay or something like that. Demure, I think, was in trend at that time.
That was before we was actually so like, now we'll actually say no to things and pass it on to someone else to do it.
But I mean, it got a reaction and it got a video out there, and we got good feedback, we got bad feedback, and it's kind of what we wanted, and it helped sort of like just get a bit of recognition out there for it.
Yeah.
But just before we go too much into the business, what about like personally? Because obviously we both have Instagram, we both spend a lot of time on there, forever sending each other funny or interesting reels, some that's serious for business as well. How serious do you take it personally?
I follow a lot of pages that I have an interest in, like most people do, but there's also a lot of stuff on there that you junk scroll, and I am a sucker for that. It's something I'm always trying to get better at, for spending too much time on my phone and just consuming rubbish. But equally, there is a lot of stuff on there that has great value. In business, in personal life, in motivation. I think there's a fine line between consuming that content and consuming junk content that, you know, a lot of people do consume at an alarming rate.
I think we're all guilty of it, aren't we, of that sort of doom scrolling. Yeah. It's very easy to do.
And I, as I said earlier, I much prefer a sort of private life, a private Instagram. I don't really, if people, requesting to follow me, usually I'll prefer to see if it's somebody I like or know at least, or have something in common or friends in common before I'll accept someone. I've always been that way, and I don't know why. I think I just prefer to live that sort of lower under the radar life. And
and that's fair enough. I mean, I think if I see a story by Joshua Williams come up, it's generally going to be a video of your cycling friends in front of you while you're steaming along with your Strava data on the screen as well.
I think that's it. I like to. I don't really post actual content on there apart from the odd story here and here and there. And again, if I post something, I don't want to have to think who's going to see this, who's watching. It's just generally people I know that are following me, and that's what I like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have many followers on Instagram at all. It's mainly friends and family, really. I just post stuff with my kids that I think is interesting or funny, or moments that I think that friends or family might appreciate. A lot of the time reposting stuff for work as well, just because I like to just try and just show everyone, like, look, the company's doing stuff, or that was interesting, have a look at that. There's some clients as well that follow me personally as well. They can see it as well if they haven't done. Just post like interesting bits and pieces. You go on holiday, I like to post when I'm on holiday as well, not to sort of like show off I'm on holiday, but it's more to be like, again, friends and families, look, this is what we're doing, because most of the time it will be family that will drop a message like, oh, you know, it looks nice, what you guys up to? And it's just sort of a way of keeping them informed as well, because we live abroad, we don't see them all the time. So it's a nice way to feel that you're getting that interaction without hammering them pictures on WhatsApp or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So based on that, with the two views there on social media, obviously, I imagine when we started the social media journey with Expat Group, we probably had different feelings towards it. And as I said, I don't think I would have, if I was in this by myself, it's probably not something that I would have ever gone down, because I was not had a misconception about it, but I would have probably been way out of my comfort zone, and I would have just chose not to do it. And I feel like because you was like, let's do it, let's give it a go, I just went along with it. What made you feel that that was the way we should have gone with it, and what was important at that time to actually, right, let's get somebody in that's going to, you know, because you were posting on the Instagram page from early days and it was sporadic. We both had our own Instagram pages. And then there was a point where we actually, well, you said, let's get someone in and let's start having some help with this in forms of a social media manager. What led to that decision for you?
Yeah, well, obviously I started doing social media from the beginning because the business ultimately started off of Facebook. I mean, believe it or not, from, you know, community recommendation pages within Dubai. That's where the sort of business came from. So you had to have a Facebook page that people could link to and see. And of course, you had to have an Instagram page as well, because that's very much what everyone does. And that's what people spend a lot of time on. So I wanted to basically try and attack every avenue that I could to make sure that we would have exposure for everyone. So when it came to then setting up the pages, that's easy. Back then we had a logo, it was slightly different, but we put that on there. And then, as you say, I just started posting real life pictures from jobs. So other sort of companies in the same field were just posting very sort of superficial pictures, some even like stock pictures off the internet that weren't even their photos, and then would just have a boring caption under it. So I wanted to keep it pretty real, like, this is a job we're actually on. This is me on a roof actually doing a job, which I felt was a bit more interesting. However, I couldn't keep that up because we just got busier and busier. So as you say, the posts were sporadic. Then there's also an element of quality that comes into it now, because people were trying to steal images from a page because it was all quite real. Then I had to put like a watermark, like Expat AC at the time logo over it. So then that was on there. That looked untidy. It really didn't have any sort of quality on it. Then we started messing around with like imagery. I don't know if you remember when I'd superimpose the vans like over pictures and stuff like that. At Christmas, superimposed a van with a Santa in the middle of it. Of that.
You started your graphic design career.
Yeah, exactly. And as you know, I'm not like a tech whiz or anything like that. So there was a massive lack of quality, but you had these ideas of actually that would look good, but just didn't have the time or was unable to, you know, execute the quality. So yeah, certainly when we grouped up and it was like, right, we need to accelerate the business, we need to grow, that needs to look good. So we started obviously like deleting that sort of stuff off and got the fantastic Law involved with our Instagram page to then start to get a bit of quality behind it, which I think we have. And obviously we wanted to engage with as many people as we could. So we tried to do some on-trend videos. In fact, recently we've had one that's gone sort of semi-viral, isn't it? Over a million views on TikTok. Is it nearly 1 million on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's like 850 or something on Instagram.
Yeah, completely irrelevant to any work that we do. It's just a sort of on-trend video. Hopefully anyone that's listening or watching has seen it as well. But we said that from the beginning, didn't we? We didn't necessarily want to post about the actual work we're doing because it's actually quite boring. We just wanted to try and stay relevant and stay at the forefront of someone's mind in case they thought, oh, I need something doing. Oh, I've seen that company, just to be in people's minds.
Yeah, I think the way I justified it to myself by doing it, and the reason I put myself out of my comfort zone to do the social media thing, was that we used to be in front of customers all day, every day. And we used to interact with our customers face to face, doing work, providing a service to them. As the company then grew, there became a point where we couldn't do that anymore. Not through not wanting to, but just literally our time was having to be spent running the company and taking care of everyone else due to the high demand, which is amazing and it's great. But you can quite quickly disappear into the background and not be seen or heard, or people, what happened to Paul and Josh? They used to come to my house all the time. And for me, I like that when you show your face on social media, it's very much that, oh, they are still, you know, it's just that there's a lot more things we have to do on a daily basis now than what we used to do 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The roles have almost completely changed. So that was important for me, that we could just still be relevant, still be out there. But then, as you said, you can't make home maintenance very sexy, as we say. You just can't. Like, there's only so much content you can show of people cleaning AC or cleaning water tanks before it's just boring. And I like the fact that on our page we stay relevant, that we're doing what we're doing, but we also show the highlights of the work that we do. So there's a total mix of
It's a good balance, yeah.
sort of office culture, the work that we're doing, what me and you are up to, you know, personal life, work life. There's a complete mix. And in all honesty, that's what I like about the page the most. It shows and covers every aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the question there was what got us into it. And
Was that lack of quality,
Yeah.
and wanting to be able to post regularly and not having the time to do it, having someone dedicated to doing it, which
having
has
now
helped us hugely.
someone knowing that we're going to post on them set days and we need content for them set days, you have to stay accountable to get the content
Yeah.
and then post it and keep it up to date and keep it regular.
Yeah, that's it. And I actually look forward to like seeing the post come out. We know it's going to be out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We film so much, we do so much that we actually don't know what's going to come out that day. So it's actually quite cool to, you know, anticipate what's going to come out and see and be like, oh yeah, that's a good one. And, you know, we have a good chat about it. We have a good laugh about it as well, some of them. So yeah, I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing that's different between business and personal, from business, there's none of this fakeness. Everything is real. Like, you see us on there, it's real. You see the messing around, it's real. You see the quality of work, it's real. Whereas on personal, especially a lot of people that I follow, because I find it interesting, and not always for a good reason, but a lot of people tend to like want to show off, and it maybe not be as real as what their real life is. I don't know if that's just a Dubai thing or whether it's a universal thing. It's probably universal, but why would that be different? That as a business, you wouldn't be like, oh, we're doing all of this and we've done this and I've got this, and maybe you're steering towards it not being so true. But personally, it's quite free that people do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, as you said, there's a lot of people. I think Dubai is slightly worse than a lot of other places in the world for it, but a lot of people here seem to be feel the need to prove something to other people. And by that, it's a slippery slope. If you ain't genuinely doing something and you're shouting about it, you're going to get found out.
Yeah. And do you know what? There's some business owners that have a personal page as well as a business page, obviously. Business page, really cool, really informative, really good. You look at their personal page and it's all about like posed pictures. For example, I think we all know who we're talking about when there's a Rolls Royce outside the front of the house, doors open, sat in it, one leg out, pictures been taken from a distance of the car and the house and everything. And it's like, we already know you're loaded. Like that shouldn't be a big deal for you. Why are you bragging like that? But the business side of it is so serious and you know, well respected.
I think there's certain industries out here, or in the world actually, where I feel that you can get away with showing things off and living that life. Whether you're doing it or whether you're not doing it, you can get away with it. And there's always been a huge sort of preconception in the industry that we're in that you can never do too well for yourself.
I think it's a key point, yeah.
And it's something that I really wanted to talk about on this while we're talking about social media, because in the trade, as we know from back home, anyone that's doing too well, too expensive. Anyone that's doing bad, can't run a business. And you have to be in this middle ground where you're not interpreted as somebody that is too expensive and you're not interpreted as somebody that is too cheap.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because if you go out and build a great business for yourself and you want to show it off, you should be, able to do that because you've done well.
Yeah.
Whether that's in plumbing, whether that's in carpentry, electrical, AC, anything, you've made a good business. And if you want to show your life off with the money you've made, go and do it. But unfortunately, in our industry, compared to other industries, if you go and do that, all of a sudden, people have this conception, we can't use them because they're way too expensive.
Yeah.
Let's go for that company. They're not showing that off. Whereas in other industries that we know in Dubai, I think you can do that, and you almost have to do that to prove you're good at what you are or you're good at what you do.
Yeah. I wonder why that is different in the trade, though.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I think it's potentially, my view is that it comes from older times where trades were looked at as a, sort of lower ranking job. So if you're a tradesman back in, maybe the 80s, 90s, you're a tradesman. That's all you can do. You're a tradie. You can't do well for yourself. Whereas now, there's certain opportunities where you can grow businesses out of that. You can employ people. You can build a good reputation for yourself, and you can earn a lot of money doing it. But there's still people with a conception back in there that you can't do that. And a funny story, I remember when I was in my apprenticeship, the suppliers that my dad used to use local to us, the guy who owned it was in a partnership with another guy, and they did very, very well. Multiple branches around the surrounding areas. And he used to drive a 15, 20-year-old Saab convertible with a mouldy roof. And my dad always used to speak to him about why he never drove a car. And it was purely because he didn't want the customers coming in and driving past his car to think that they were doing too well.
Yeah.
He refused to buy himself a nice car or show that he was living a nice life because of that.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a weird conception that, we're in 2026 now, and if you make a good business and you want to show off for yourself, why can't you do that? If you don't want to, great. But also, if you've been successful, made a load of money, and you want to go and buy yourself a nice car and plaster it all over Instagram, you should be entitled to do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not at those levels now, but if you fast forward 10 years and we do the plans that we set out to do, it would just feel so wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about our industry, but it would just feel wrong to post the same kind of content that some of these other guys do, which is staged photos purely with the intent to show everyone, look at how well I'm doing, look at what I've got. But sometimes I don't understand it, because sometimes it could be post about something, clearly showing off about something. And again, as I said earlier, you think, well, yeah, that should be normal for you. Why are you still showing it off? It's almost like they have to show, look, I'm still doing well. This is what I'm doing. Should instill confidence maybe in the line of business that they're in.
And I think that's what it comes down to. It's different industries. As we always said, even in the real estate sector, if somebody was to turn up to a massive house for sale, tens of millions in a Nissan Sunny, you might think, is he the right agent for this house?
Yeah,
it's the conception you have. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
If you're going to sell a house, you want to sell it with that guy that turns up in the best car, the best suit, because you think he's doing well. He must get the most money he possibly can out of this house. I want to go with him.
And that's what I'm saying. Whereas in our industry, if you want, brand new AC system, brand new renovation, and you think, I want that guy who's got that big company with, all that money to do it because he clearly knows what he's doing. Obviously won't make money. But no, it's the other way around. It's they want the guy that turns up cheap to get the job done cheaply.
Yeah.
So it's just a complete misconception of industries. And
I'm sure there is some people that will look at it in that way, but it's the majority, isn't it?
It's just a preconception that a lot of people
if you were to pull up in a lovely car or something like that, then it would be like, oh, you're doing too well. Maybe the money isn't in the industry. That's why no one does it. Maybe that's a real answer.
Just barking up the wrong tree. Maybe that's what we're doing. But I've had conversations with friends and family, when I've thought about getting a new car, and it's something that I've spoke about for the last 4 years to you and still never done anything about it. But the sad thing is that when you look at potentially cars that you want to buy yourself, I always find myself thinking, could I turn up to someone's house in that? What would they think if I turned up in that car? Yeah. And I'm not talking like anything crazy, but just a nice car. And then you second guess as to whether is that the right car? Should I even be looking at that? Can I do that? Or will I only be able to drive that on the weekends because I can't turn up to clients' houses in that? And I hate it. I hate the industry for that, but it's just the way it is. And I don't know when or if it will ever change. I just think it's part of the industry that we're in, that there's always a view and a judge on you for doing too well for yourself.
Yeah, it's a strange one. But also that then could lead other people to either gain inspiration from it as well, which I do like. And I follow a lot of wealthy people and business owners. For that, it's like you think, oh, okay, that's inspirational. What they're doing, that's pretty cool. So it does give you that drive. Also, when you look at people that follow on social media that are in the same industry, that have been there and done it all, again, you can learn from them. So there is some uses from social media. It's just this on the personal side of it, I think is where it can sort of cross the line into being very fake, rather than it being sort of a real thing. But I don't think I'm not really like breaking any news here. I think it's well known that that's what it's like, but it's just strange because we get suckered into it to follow it.
Yeah.
Whereas on the business, it's very real and raw. This is correct. This is real. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, I like to look at people. I get more inspiration out of people that I know have a very successful business and have invested their money very well over somebody that I don't quite know what they're doing, but they're showing off all the latest gear, the latest clothes, the latest cars, you know, because you don't know what they're doing. If I know someone is living a very nice life and they've got a very nice business that you can see does well, a couple of assets, property, I think that's more inspirational than somebody that's got, you know,
I think
the best car.
Maybe one of the crazy things about Dubai is how it can get in your head is that potentially people will come over here with this perception that they're going to do very well, and perhaps they've given that perception to people that they've left behind as well. So when they get here, they may get a decent salary compared to the UK, and you're taking it all home. You think, yeah, this is good. But actually, you start realizing the cost of things in Dubai. So you start stretching yourself a little bit to try and make it appear that you're doing well. And you know, I know people that will be posting that they've got this, that, and the other, and it's like, well, I know that you're, you know, going back to a 1-bedroom flat, for example. Like, you shouldn't be buying that or posting about that. Why did you buy that watch when you could have actually, you know, bought your apartment? You know, it's silly things like that, which I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will. But that's one thing. But when you talk about inspiration as well, what was quite cool that I noticed in the last few months, maybe 6 months, other companies, other competitors have started replicating similar things of what we're doing on our social media platforms, which take it as a compliment. Obviously, I don't think they're doing it as well as us. I think if you're going to copy someone, at least copy and do it better. But that's a compliment, I think. And, you know, if we are inspiring other people to up their game as well, then it can only raise the industry standards as well.
Yeah, I don't think we started the social media thing to improve our business.
No.
The goal was never to get more work or more customers or, you know, increase it. It was more that...
I think there would be a byproduct of that, because if you're exposing yourself to more people, you're in their mind, you're relevant, they've seen what you've done maybe a few months ago. Oh, I need that doing now. I'm going to use that company I saw.
Yes, and that comes of doing something right with the social media. I remember when we did it, it was never about we're doing this for a sole purpose of getting more work. You do something right, as you said, as a byproduct, you'll get the work because you're relevant, you're on trend, you're posting stuff, you know, that you do. People buy into the brand, they like what you do, they can see what you do. It's real, as you said, you know, they like the culture, they can see what the office is like, how the staff are, and that then gets you work.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, imitation is the finest form of flattery, right? I love that saying, and I think it's so true. I don't know, back when we started two and a half years ago now, I don't know anyone else was doing the same as what we were. There might have been companies doing similar, but I don't think there was anyone doing or had the vision of what we wanted to do with it. And I think as time has gone on, as you said, people have started to jump onto it and sort of saying, oh, well, maybe we should start doing something like that, rather than, as you say, posting these stock images or just photos of work that has been done.
Yeah, you can clearly see a change.
I like that, because it's, you know, other people are starting to jump on it, and it's cool. Like that's the industry that we wanted to create. You, as we say earlier, you can only post so many photos of, you know, trade work or home maintenance before people just get bored of it.
And it pushes us to go further as well and improve ourselves, because if someone else, you think, oh, they're copying us, trying to do something, okay, we need to up our game. So I say it could raise everyone's standard, and not just a social media standard, but it just gets you thinking, right, other people are trying to do what we're doing across the whole aspect of the company. We need to make sure that we're doing well. We had an instance last week or the week before. One of our employees was contacted by a very rival company and was asked to share one of our quotations, because they wanted to know how we laid it out, how we offered the pricing, and basically how it was all worded. I mean, it's wrong, and of course she didn't share it. And I'm sure if the owners of that company knew that had happened underneath them, they would be very disappointed. But again, it's flattering for us, because they're a much bigger company than us, and we're actually looking at them thinking, yeah, we're trying to get to those levels of size, but they're looking at us thinking, geez, their processes are clearly better than ours. We need to see what they're doing. On the same note, the same company, after talking to our employee about it, she said that their operation manager walked into their office and said to everyone, come on, guys, we need to work harder on our quotations. We need to be getting them out quicker than Expat Group. I thought it was quality.
Yeah,
and it's because of the time that we invested in the software and systems that we got, that we can get quotes out so fast.
And I think there's one thing about being a massive company, and one thing we've always said since we've been together in this is we could double overnight if we wanted to. We could go out and take 50 employees on this week and put them out on the road. But we chose quality over quantity. And I think we've done the right thing by trying to get the processes in place that you can grow into as well. And as you said, that it proves to us that the processes that we're doing, that we're sticking to, the money that we've put back into the company to invest in training, invest in the CRM system that we use, is a testament to our company and what we're doing. It almost proves that we're doing something right. And I think you can look at it two ways, and you can look at it as, you know, people coming into the business and trying to get information out of us. They're only going to do that if, you know, they feel that we're doing something better than them.
Of course.
So I think that's great. And,
Of course,
as you said, luckily nothing was shared and it was raised to us, and we spoke about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's
had
great.
a chuckle about it and move on and just think, yeah, okay, cool. We keep going. We keep progressing. They're already notified us to say they're behind and they're wondering what we're doing and how we're doing it. We keep going.
Yeah.
And just try and make that gap bigger.
Even on the social media, like we've got 2.5 years of the bad stuff out the way now, and finding what works and what we enjoy doing and what we don't enjoy doing. And, you know, that at one point we had to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations and do things that we didn't like. And certainly I didn't like doing, but did it for the company, and you put yourself in them positions. And I think you grow. Like, I would never have thought 3 years ago that I'd be sat in here now with you talking about our business and our life and what we do and having a bit of a catch-up chat. But here we are. And it's just a testament that you do something that you're uncomfortable with, and it pushes you into that, you know, that next level. And I think for me, the social media thing has taught me a lot. That I've learned a lot of lessons from it. And I never thought I'd be comfortable in front of a camera, semi-comfortable in front of a camera, especially from where we started. But here we are with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's been really good for us.
Yeah, no, it has. And I still don't think that I would be as comfortable going on the camera and doing all the stuff that I do for the business that I would for my personal. It just feels a little bit weird. It feels like you need to sort of maybe just keep it.
Yeah, I think on your personal page, that is truly you. Whereas in the business, not that it's fake, but you feel protected by the business and you can talk about the business. Whereas in your life, it's just you and the camera and your personal feelings in life.
And in the business, you're with your employees, you're with your friends, you're with people you spend a lot of time with, and you get on, and you're the owner of the company, you're managing the company. At home, I know you're not a father yet, but I'm a father and a husband. Not that I'm a different person, but it's a completely different lifestyle. So I wouldn't want to start filming myself, chatting away to the camera, saying what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
We just stick to a photo every now and then. So like you say, close friends and families can see it and see what's going on. And yeah,
I think the other side of social media that I quite like is that I had a friend recently that you know of mine. He's a footballer, and he's started his own journey now into more training and what he's going to do after football. And it's quite exciting for him because he knows he needs to get clients, and he is taking clients on, but also he's posting sort of generic things on social media. And we had a phone call a couple of weeks ago now, and he was sort of chatting to me about it, and I was sort of giving him my advice and my opinion, and to hear from him that he really liked what I was saying about it. And I wasn't saying anything that was reinventing the wheel. And I was just saying to him, look, get yourself in a podcast studio, start talking like we do. And he sits and watches our videos and loves it. And it was just striking for me that, you know, somebody that is a great friend of mine, we're chatting about it, and I'm giving him advice on social media.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And it's just nice to be able to share that with someone. And come off the call, and he said he was going to, you know, book a podcast studio and try and get some content done that way. And it was almost like he knew he needed to do it, but he needed someone to tell him, go and do it.
And I'm sure for someone like him that's been on a football pitch and not necessarily been talking in front of a camera so much, anyone that follows the football club or him personally would actually be quite interested to hear him talk and what he's got to say. So if he puts his face in front of the camera and starts, you know, short videos, and they're the ones that people are going to watch because they have an interest. Even if I see a video and somebody's talking to the camera on a subject that I'm half interested in, I'm more likely to watch that than I am if it's just a film of something else going on in the background while they're talking over it. You know, you see someone's face and how engaged they are and how passionate they are about something, you're far more likely to watch it.
Well, I said that to him. I said, like, you're selling a training course which is based on your experiences in the football world and your career. You need to sell that to someone. And there's only so much you can post without people buying into you as a person that is going to sign up to your coaching plan. You know, if you're there and you're telling your story and it's raw and they can see you and they can feel the emotion and understand what you went through, if they can relate to that because they're in a similar position, they're going to use you. There's only so much, you know, content on the pitch or in the gym that you can post before
without it looking like everyone else's as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
So it was really nice to have that conversation, and coming from me, who again I didn't want to do social media, but ended up posting it for the better of the business, and we push each other to do it, and then you can give some advice back to a friend. It was really cool for me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Another question I've got is, what would you say or give advice to someone like that is on the verge of doing it? Maybe somebody that might be in our position that is by themselves and questioning what to do, because I think coming from us too, again, we've pushed each other through doing it, and there's certain things that I didn't want to do that you wanted to do, and vice versa, that if I was on my own, I don't think I'd have done it. So if I had my own business and you was my mate, what would you say why it's important, or why you think it's relevant to do something like that in this day and age?
From my own learning curve, it would be get some advice or employ somebody that does it as a profession to actually give you sound advice. But then secondary to that, also don't be afraid just to put yourself out there. And do you know what? People will say, that didn't come across well, that didn't look good. But people are talking about it and engaging with it. So whether it's good or bad press, doesn't necessarily matter, but you're getting yourself out there. You will get better as time goes on, and it will turn more positive.
Sorry, just on that.
Are you going to say the same thing I'm just about to say?
Probably.
Go on.
About the first podcast? No?
First. Oh, right, that we didn't air.
I was going to say, just jumping in there, that we actually did a podcast once, the very first one, and me and you were so overstimulated talking to each other that we were talking over each other in the microphone, and we paid all that money for that expensive podcast studio, and it actually never went anywhere. It never got aired. We watched the footage back, and it was just so embarrassing because we're just there fighting for the microphone over the top of each other. But we spent that money, we learnt a lesson that we actually need to shut up when the other one's talking.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to bite my tongue sometimes and not go, yeah. And
you just sat there going...
And that's what I did the first time. Yeah, exactly. But no, what I was going to say, and that is a really good example about how you just do it and you will learn and get better, and that's what we did. And we actually called that a tester.
Yeah.
We knew that potentially wouldn't go out. But it's in the archive somewhere, I'm sure. But anyway, I was going to say about one of the first reels we did, the one I mentioned earlier where I'm saying all sorts of words that are meant to be in fashion. And we had somebody say to us, "Got to stop that. That's awful. That was not good." Well, wow, that was a bit strong. Someone telling us to our face, not even online. Like, wow, okay, that was a bit strong. But then he went on to say, me and my wife were watching it, and we were just saying this, that, and the other. And I thought, quality. I wasn't watching anything you put out. You were watching what I've put out. So cool, it's out there. People are seeing it. If I hadn't have put it out there, no one would have seen it. You wouldn't know about the company name. You wouldn't know about me. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. So I thought that was really cool. We've also had people knocking us for doing Q&As on the golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, we play golf in our own private time. We work in our own private time. There's no right or wrong reason to do. It's just that is a more interesting place to be asking a Q&A than it is sat at our desk in an office. Yeah. So, there is right and wrong ways about doing everything, but you just got to not be afraid of what everyone's going to say, because whether or not they're talking about it in a positive light or a negative light, if you're getting out there to begin with, you're getting some engagement. And if the stuff that isn't coming back in a positive light, you will naturally get better and you'll learn from it as well. And you can take on these advices and just keep pushing through.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that do certain content as rage bait sort of stuff where what you're saying is so wrong on every level and it's going to get a reaction on purpose for views, engagement and content.
Well, I actually wanted to do the same thing for this podcast, and just, even if we're not even talking about it today, just get a few sound bites, just of like extreme comments, just so that you could then clip that up, put it out there. And actually the podcast got nothing to do with that, but
it's the world we live in with social media and people whole social media pages is about clickbait and rage bait and saying things that are so wrong just to get comments disagreeing with them, and because it's engagement, and we know now that is what attracts views and attracts people to that page, and it gets posted further up the explore page or the reels tab or whatever it is. It's not content that I like, because I think you can quite easily get sucked into it, but then also you can be quite aware of what's going on as soon as you hear it, and usually I then skip on, and it's not something that consumes me.
We don't do stuff like that. I mean, I was sort of saying it in jest, but yeah, you sort of get tempted because they are the ones that generally people will click on, but probably not in a good way.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I quite like doing the videos, the social media. I like the engagement. I like when somebody will say, you're the owner of Expert Group. I saw your video or something like that. That's really cool. That's nice. I do
like that. I think it's a testament, as long as we're getting, 99% of the time good feedback. And I was going to add, while you was chatting there, that the individual that said about you got to stop doing that, and has since quite frequently came up to us and said, "Oh, videos are great, loving what you're doing. It's so good. Some of the stuff you're putting out is brilliant, hilarious. Really informative." And it's been nothing but been very positive about the stuff we've been putting out. So, as you said, I think sometimes you get things wrong, sometimes you get things right, but usually the things you get wrong are forgotten about within a week, because you're on to the next thing. And as if somebody's talking, they're talking, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
That's right.
The most common theme is that it's good feedback, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah. And just going back to the sort of competitor side of it, away from social media a little bit, just to sort of finish up, like what's your take on the competitors and their attitude towards our business? Not that we get to see too much, but we have seen, as you mentioned earlier, looking for our quotes. They're trying to beat our quote time. We had a general manager of another company message our service manager the other day, asking him to come and help him on a job.
Sunday night.
On a Sunday night. He hadn't even started his job yet. He's just about to start a brand new company. He's asking us for advice straight away. Not a good sign, but compliment. Obviously, we're not going to cross over with clients and other companies. It just doesn't work like that. The client has to come to us. However, again, it's a bit of a compliment, but we do have the risk that we have an excellent team and we look after the guys really well, and they're happy, they're paid well, paid on time, they're looked after, they get everything they want. But we have the risk of competitors looking at our company as well and trying to maybe poach our staff or tempt them away. What's sort of your thoughts on that? I mean, we can't hold back what we do. We have to keep going.
Yeah. I look at it in very simple terms, that I used to get quite upset about, competitors maybe looking in too much. Now I see it as a compliment, and I think we are in our own lane. We're focused on where we're heading. If anyone's sort of like looking in from either side, cool, like carry on. We're going to keep going where we're going. If one of our engineers gets poached by another company, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now, the two fundamental things about that is they're either going to get poached for more money or because they're not happy about something. Now, if someone left because they're not happy about something, I'd be really upset, because I do think we treat our guys really well. If it's about money and we can't have a discussion, or maybe another company's offering way above the pay grade for that, job role, I'd be more concerned about that company than them taking our guys off us.
Yeah.
Likewise, we have the opportunity at that point to negotiate.
Yeah.
And if we can't come to a middle ground, then unfortunately they have to go.
We had the incident, didn't we? One of our guys was offered like super money for his role, but it wasn't sustainable for that company to be able to pay in those ways, because we know.
And it was about a 60% pay increase.
It was huge. It was unsustainable.
Yeah.
But he spoke to us about it. And obviously we couldn't match that because it's not sustainable. It's a massive increase. No one gets a 60% increase, no matter how good you are. We did give him an increase, and he listened to the advice and obviously remained with us. But there is that risk. There is. That particular company probably won't be around in 6 months' time, 12 months' time.
He actually said that as well as one of his concerns, which there's a risk with paying too much. You open yourself up to that. And once they leave for something new that we can't negotiate or beat on, if they go to the company and it doesn't last very well, it's very hard for them to then come back to us and say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I got things wrong." It's different if somebody wants to try something else, and maybe it's in a different industry or a different location, or whatever. It's easier to have that conversation. But I think there's, when people want to leave, it comes down to two things. It's either they don't like something in the company, or it's money. Money you can fix. And if it's something in the company, it just upsets me. If I don't think we've ever had it, to be honest, but that's something that would really upset me the most over money.
No, I mean, we have a really high staff retention rate anyway, don't we? And we see the guys regularly, and as far as we know, everyone's happy. We just had our regular meeting, didn't we, a couple of days ago, and so we keep in check with everyone and have personal meetings with people, make sure they are. So I mean, I guess we look after everyone, like you say, in our lane, and do the best that we can. In terms of competitors trying to like imitate us or compete with us, what I've found from my experience is that people will try and like disrespect your work if they know that we've been there before. Another contractor try and go, oh, they didn't do that, or they didn't do that, or they didn't do that. And there's never been a genuine comment that anyone's made that holds any sort of sustenance about our work anyway. But then the client will then be like, oh, really? And then they'll speak to us and we'll be like, what are they talking about? That's not part of the same system. That's not even related to that. We've done this. Look at the photos we did. Ah, right, you did do it. I don't know why they said that then.
Yeah.
That's what I find. Not the people actually trying to beat us at work, is they're trying to knock you down.
It's competitive industry we're in though, right? There's a lot of people doing it from the level that we're at, and people, companies around us at the higher level, right down to the lower level. There's so many people trying to do it. It's such a competitive industry that if that's the tactics that somebody's got to take to, throw shame on another company or put another company down, then you ain't going to stop that.
No,
and I just think if you know that you've done the good job and truthfully you've done nothing wrong and you can explain that and you can prove it and you can show it, there's nothing to lose sleep about. And
I mean, we have been in that position where we've had to, we've done an inspection because somebody's been concerned about the level of quality they've done, and we've had to highlight all the shortfalls that the other company has made. However, one, it's really hard to break that to the client because they are now going to have to either have a fight with the other company or they're going to have to put their hand in the pocket with us to put everything right. But we document it and present it in such a way that it's factual. There's no emotion in it. You can't talk your way out of it. It's a very formal report. There's a picture of what hasn't been done. There's a picture of what should be done. And when we finished, that's a picture of what it was like. That's a picture of what it's like now. That's how it should be. There's no two ways about it.
And I think that's the important thing you said there is factual. It has to be factual. There's one thing throwing shade on another company, trying to put another company down with images or false words. It does, because then when you get found out, they're never going to use you again, because actually you've just tried to put a company down who've proved they've done nothing wrong. So you're the ones that are in the wrong here.
It's very
and that's
weak.
not good.
Yeah. You actually look a lot better if you walk into a job and, it does happen and you walk in, you're like, these guys have actually done a fantastic job. Who did it? Because this is really good. This is good for our industry because it means that people are raising their standard. It means that they are charging the correct amount to do the correct job. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see more of.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
You don't want to walk into a client's house and tell them that the previous company they had have done a rubbish job, because it actually makes you look bad. Because if they don't believe it or they don't see our report, in time, there's a middle ground there. They might be thinking, are they just saying that? And you don't want to be in that position.
No, and I think that's just where you have to be factual about what you're saying. As long as you're factual,
give them that information quickly,
without emotion, and you're not trying to throw shade on another company, but you're saying, look, this is what they've told you they've done, and quite clearly they've not done it. This is what it should be like. This is what it is currently like, and this is what we're going to have to do to rectify it. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
It's just when there's no facts behind it and it's just words, then that's when it can really damage somebody's reputation.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, no, 100%. So as you say, we stay in our lane and keep progressing, and we keep going.
That's it.
We're probably at the end of our chat now, but I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this renovation chat. I'm itching to talk about it. We have done so much in the last few months, and especially in the last 4 weeks. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of progression, a lot of positive stuff.
I think we'll definitely save that for another podcast, because we'll go on for another hour if we're let loose here right now. But yeah, I'm super excited with what we've done. It's a really, really positive start, probably the best start we could have asked for. And yeah, to know that what we've achieved in the last couple of months has been enormous, and something that I didn't think we'd be sat here in the position we are right now.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah,
let's save that for the next one anyway.
Yeah,
leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger.
That's it. Let's go get our heads down and do some work.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cheers.
Sweet.